Welcome everybody to my podcast, Big Little Small Talk. I'm Megan O'Hara Sullivan and I love to talk, but I also love to listen. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome along to my segment on 40DB. It's called Big Little Small Talk, and it's a segment where I get to go and talk to someone in the community that I think is an interesting person. And today I have got an extra interesting person, and her name is Hanne Andersen. I've met Hanne at an aged care facility where my mother-in-law is now residing, and Hanne is a unique person, and from the minute I met her I knew that I wanted to hear more of her story, and that's who we've got today. So welcome along, Hanne.
Thank you, Megan.
Okay, Hanne, we're going to start by talking about where you live. Where do you live and why do you live there?
I didn't have much choice, really. My husband died, and I've been very, very sick, septicemia and all that. And then they said, you gotta be in a nursing home, because I also have sleep apnea and very bad. So nursing home it was, and I'm quite happy there.
Mm-hmm. And Hanne, how do you find, I know certainly my mother-in-law has got dementia, and a lot of the people in the aged care facility are probably, shall we say, not quite as sharp as you. How do you find that as a mindset for you?
For me, extremely interesting, very interesting.
Why
and
interesting?
Their brain certainly doesn't work as ours, and to find out how it works and get in behind, for me, that is a beautiful thing. See, I have known your mother-in-law for 2 years, and when she came in, she was a beautiful lady. And then certainly that lady, they are always well groomed and well dressed, and yeah. And she comes sick, and she had a couple of falls, and bingo, it went downhill from there.
It's stunning.
But I can't let her go because I love her too much.
Well, we're certainly lucky to have you there, Hanne. Now, I'll just apologise to the listeners because we've broken out of the nursing home or the aged care facility, and we've come down the pub because Hanne doesn't mind a schnapps, and every Friday afternoon my husband, my parents-in-law and Hanne would have a few schnapps for the happy hour, and we've come down, but we had a choice of whether it was going to be the band or whether it was going to be the road noise, and we've taken the road noise. So I'll apologise to you all for some of the road noise starting out. So Hanne, obviously you've got an accent. Where is your accent from?
Denmark.
Okay.
Copenhagen, born and bred.
Okay, and can I ask what year you were born?
38.
Okay, 1938. So
Yes.
that makes you...
The 28th of November,
Uh-huh.
soon my birthday.
Exactly. Another schnapps, another opportunity for schnapps.
Yeah.
So tell me about growing up in Denmark.
I had a beautiful growing up time, beautiful parents. And when I was 13, my two sisters that were older, I thought that was extremely boring. And I certainly wasn't going to be like them. So I started to think. And then they sent me to college. And after college, there was a lady that came down one day and said, anyone here that would like to go to Iceland? Yes, I said. I flew up. And I hardly knew, of course I knew where it was, but yes, I went up there for a year. Beautiful country.
What age were you when you went to Iceland?
Only 16.
Right.
Yeah.
And were you doing an exchange? Were you still studying?
No.
What did you do when you went to Iceland?
I was a governess and with rich people's children, and that was lovely. And you get to know all the right people, if I can put it that way.
Uh-huh.
And you can get in, all doors are open when you know them. And that was a big help for me. And that I came behind in their culture and found out they could all speak Danish and English and Iceland. So that was a big help because I could only speak Danish. So it all came out 3 months and I could answer the phone, and it went very fast. The younger you are, the quicker you learn a language.
Okay. So can we go back a little way? So you said you were born in 1938, and your father, I am led to believe, was a classical pianist. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. So where did he play? Did he play for pleasure or play for a living?
No. He played for the theaters, and he played for concerts, and later on in life he played for dancing. But he also had ballet dancing, trained, and dancing and anything really, played to that mood to get the move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right,
movement right. Yeah.
So he didn't do the classical pianist role for a living. He did some other work, did he?
Oh yeah, he was also a butcher.
Okay.
My grandfather had about 5 or 6 butcher shops in Copenhagen, and did not want him to play piano.
Right.
That was for sissies.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course.
But anyhow, he finished that, and then his mum loved his playing the piano, how he could handle it, how he could twist it, and he did. And I still got a couple of discs from him where he played, and I really
recordings, right. So being born in 1938, the World War II, what sort of experiences did you have, and do you have much memory of that?
Oh yes, yes. And I would rather not go into it because it hurts too much.
It was terrible.
I saw too many people shot, and it's now.
Like most people, I suppose, it's just too traumatic to think about some of the events. But I was hoping that you might tell the story of biting the Nazi man on the leg. Did you? Is that a story there?
That's so true.
Could you tell me about that story?
Okay, my mum and dad were held up in a room, and they had to sleep, and they had a machine gun in the stomach, and then I think they had other things in their mind to do, and I thought something was wrong. I was only 5, and then suddenly I flew down and bit him in his ankle, flew around a big chair, and sat there, and when he came one step further, I went again, and I bit him, the blood was running, and then I had a revolver right in my face, between my eyes. But I didn't care, I wasn't scared of him. And one of the the captains or whatever came through the door at the same time, and he said to him, the German fellow, "Die Hände hoch," hands up. And he got them out from there, and whatever happened there, and he was very caring for us, and he was very upset about me. I was too little to experience things like that.
Right.
But that was part of growing up in that time.
Right. And can you tell me the story about, I know you said you didn't want to go into it, and I respect that. I just have heard a story about you leading people through the tunnels.
Yes, we did.
Can you tell me about that? What tunnels were they?
It was sometimes up on the roof where they had made some thought they could walk over. I don't know what they did with that, how they did it, I don't know. I can just remember something being over from one street to the other, on top of the houses. And that's where we took all the Jews to come to Sweden underground.
Right.
So they shouldn't be shot or tortured or whatever have you. And I was again 4, 5, 6 years old. And they came over to you on the street and said, "Are you Hannah?" And I said, "Yes, I'm uncle. This and that, or auntie, this and that. Can you bring us up to your mom and dad?" So I did. And then from there on, we got them underground. Sometimes I had to take them because I was little and I wasn't scared because I grew up in it. It makes a big difference. And we just got them over to Sweden, and underground they were all saved.
So in these underground tunnels, you took some of the Jews and you led them through this tunnel, and then they escaped to Sweden.
Yeah, and then there was somebody over there to take care of them as soon as they came over there.
And then did you have to come back on your own?
Yes.
Then, as a 5-year-old?
Yes.
Back to your mum and dad?
Well, Hannah has always been a little bit strange.
A little bit strange or a little bit brave, do you think?
Well, whatever.
A bit of both.
I was helping people, and that's what I have loved all my life. And I helped all them for not dying or being tortured, and that was enough for me.
Right.
I wasn't scared. I was singing and dancing when I went back, and it could sometimes be a pretty long trip.
Right.
But I also met the other ones on the trip, and they said to me, "Do you want to come with us, and we can go with you back?" No, I'm fine.
So these were the other people, the other children who were taking people across in these tunnels, these underground tunnels.
Yeah.
Incredible story.
Horrible.
And did your parents leave Denmark during the war, or did they stay there the whole time?
We stayed there the whole time.
Right. And was it under occupation or not?
Oh yeah, it was horrible. We never saw any light after. Was it 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock? we had to pull all the curtains and all that because they came over Copenhagen and bombarded it, you know, and you saw a little bit of lights. Boom. And many times when you walked on the street, certainly somebody will grab you and throw you into the corridor to steps up, you know, whatever. And because we had to have a stick, Red Cross stick, we could put in our mouth for not having our eardrums busted.
Right.
Oh yeah, that was very. We had to, or else they will punish us very severely.
Right.
And it was good that did that.
It was good. I'm talking into your good ear today. So was that how your hearing has been affected from the war?
It started with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, like for example, the school we went to was next to the French school, and it got bombed. They bombed that school, and my mom thought it was our school, so my mom come racing, crying down the street, and then suddenly I looked up and saw the school, and through all the windows down in the cellar, you saw all those bodies of small kids that drowned. They busted all the water pipes. It was, it was.
I mean, there's a lot of things like that, isn't there? That I'm sure you'd rather not go there. But I mean, I don't think that we in Australia particularly have any concept, and us as younger people have any concept of just how awful war
or they
would
will
have been.
never ever start thinking about Nazi or use the sign. They would never do that. I personally feel like smashing the teeth in when I see them. Like
this is the resurgence of the right-wing movement in Europe. Yes. Yeah.
But anyhow, that was how life was then, and it is even for me hard sometimes to understand what we really went through.
Right. Yeah.
It was unbelievable, and still
Right.
happy as anything.
It's the sort of the tenacity of the human spirit, I suppose. You just try and make and see the best of everything.
Yeah.
And your older sisters at that stage, they were still living at home, were they, or were they working then?
Yeah, but they were sooks.
They were sooks?
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Why?
They never did nothing. They always stayed on. That's why I sat there one day and looked at my two sisters and said, I'm not going to be like that.
Right.
That was because, for example, if we had to go down in to pick up coal down in but we were living on the 5th floor. We have to go down there and get the shovels, you know, and
to pick up the coal,
yeah,
was it?
and
Right.
get them up all those steps. They never did once.
Right.
Hannah, you can do it. And Hannah did. Stupid her.
So you started to say before you went to Iceland, and was that kind of the beginning of your working career then?
I think it was, because when I came back, I always wanted to become an RM. And particularly Operation RM. That was my goal. But anyhow...
you came back from Iceland, and did you start training as a nurse?
No, I
then,
didn't. That was 3 months so I could start going to college. And I did not like to take a job without saying that. So anyhow, there were 3 months or so. And then there was a job coming up in Stockholm as a governess too. And I had very good references, so that was easy. I just got it straight away and went out there for those 3 months. No, I stayed for another because something happened. I don't know what. Oh yeah, my father nearly died. That's right. So anyhow, I stayed for 8 months, I think. And then I came back. And then I could start on that college again, 3 months again.
Okay.
And then my husband...
You were married by then?
No. I was... No, come on. He had a farm, a little station. And I loved it out there. Oh, I loved it. But he didn't. And
so you had met the man you were about to marry, is that what you're saying?
Yep. Out there, because his brother was a vet and the other was a psychiatrist or whatever it was, and Paul always just wanted to be working with people and haven't found he was educated as a farmer and blah 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 blah. But anyhow, we found each other certainly one night bingo.
How did you find each other?
I was living in because I looked after the people that worked on the farm.
Okay.
And as a housekeeper.
Okay.
I was always hilarious, funny, me out in the country with all those stupid farmers.
Oh.
I learned fast.
They're not stupid?
No. No.
Quite the opposite.
Oh yes, and they can think. Yeah. So anyhow, no, that was a very good. I loved it, and
You loved being on the farm. So you and your husband stayed on the farm?
yeah, only for 5 years.
Uh-huh.
Because in the end, he would come in, he wouldn't say a boom, and he just sat there, and I thought, this is not life. I said, what about if you sell and try something else?
So it was a family farm, was it, that he was
Yes, it
living
was
on?
the family third generation, not fourth generation, but
Right.
third, yeah. And all the best things were taken at the farm. So we worked it up to be a really good one. So we sacked 2 of the people that worked on the farm, and I've got a young girl to come in and do my housework, and I worked on the farm. I like that a lot better.
Okay,
yeah,
yes,
I loved
it sounds
it.
very familiar.
Yeah.
My mother was much the same in
No.
Tara. She had a housekeeper. She didn't like the domesticity, and who does?
I still don't like it.
No.
It's just something that has to be done sometimes.
And had you started having a family by then, when you were living on the farm?
Well, put it this way, I have been a good girl till I was 18. And when I met Paul that night, we have been to an RSCQ accident movie. They showed us how to avoid accident and all that. And you know me, I'm a coddler. I am a coddler. And I just grabbed him, and he had his girlfriend with him.
Oh.
Oh yeah, there's nothing. If you ask me what I thought about him, he's a very nice, well-dressed gentleman. Definitely not a farmer. No. But anyhow, he came home and he was hooking the bags for the fun of it. We were just playing stupid games. And I hit my top lips on the VW of the little handle there in the glove box.
Yes, I know.
So I said, I pity it was really fun. And he said, did I hurt you? I said, yeah. I said, and he kissed me.
Oh.
And-
Where was the girlfriend at this stage?
Oh yeah, on the way back. He thought, I had enough of her. It's that one I want.
Ah.
It just, and he was only had 2 girlfriends, I think, before, but that one.
It
That's it.
decided, right.
That's me. It
And
was not me. It wasn't me beforehand, but after that, something happened. Just exploded.
So was it all of the...
And I felt pregnant that night.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That,
Cop that one, and that's why I would not do nothing.
okay, so now...
It's a bit private, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, not a bit private. I suppose it's just the
It's
reality
life.
of people's life.
Yeah.
That's right. So you find out you're pregnant to this guy that you
Yep.
hardly knew. And so what happened then?
He just asked me to marry him,
Uh-huh.
and I said, are you sure? I am definitely sure, but what about you?
Yeah.
I mean, you used to travel and used to be your stiletto and red nails and all that. I said, I can live without it too. Yeah, well, you can, you showed that. And he said, I would very much like you to marry me. So we
Right.
got married and we got first baby. And then 10 months after I felt pregnant again. So we thought, heck, here we go. I'm going to have 50 kids. So anyhow, but Paul, he became more and more set back and pulled back and didn't even like a cuddle anymore.
Paul?
So I said, what about if you sell, Paul? I can't. I said, what stops you? We've got to think of our own 19. Pretty young.
You were only 19.
Yeah, then.
Right.
And I did 19, 20, 23, I'm lying. I was there 5 years.
So you had the 2 children by then,
Yeah.
and you said...
And anyhow, I said, okay. I said, I went down to the bank and I said to them, such and such, such and such. And he also had to, see, the 2 brothers had everything for free from the farm.
Right.
Paul was supposed to have the farm for free.
Uh-huh.
They were greedy. They wanted the third party, both of them. Yeah.
Right.
So anyhow, I said, well, stuff this for a joke. They're earning good money. And we're going to work our guts out to feed them. I said, no. And a friend of ours had a friend that said, why don't you start to do a pipe feeder job and central heating? Actually, yeah, I think I like that.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, he had a job, and 1, 2, 3, I sold the farm.
Right. Yeah.
And that was then he became Paul again.
Okay.
Happy
okay.
Paul. Oh, yeah.
Right.
He
So
was
do you
so
think,
happy.
Hannah, he may have had some depression there, or
I think there were so many disappointments. And it was a little bit hard for the other farmers to accept me because again, red knives and stilettos, that didn't fit. But they saw me work.
Right.
And then, she can work. And boy, she can cook.
So what did you say? You had red lipstick and stilettos, but you could work. Was that the thing?
No, I always wore stilettos.
Always wore stilettos.
Oh, yeah. And always had long red knives.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Long hair and that. The whole thing.
But you could work too.
Oh, yes.
And so they respected you because you
yes,
could work.
I earned that respect.
Yeah.
Really earned it.
Okay.
And when we had harvest and you're digging all up on the...
Right, throwing it up
yeah,
there.
no, I loved it.
Uh-huh.
And if you love what you're doing it.
We're in our segment called Big Little Small Talk on 102.7 FM, community radio, and I'm interviewing Hanne Andersen, who is a lovely friend of my mother-in-law's, and she grew up in Denmark, and we're up to the stage where she's got married, she's had 2 children. So how did you come out to Australia, Hanne?
You won't believe that one. One day, we had just been on a holiday to Austria, Switzerland and all that, came back with another couple, his workmate, and then suddenly he rang me up one night and said, have you spoken to Tove today? And I said, yes. How was she? Oh, what? She left me. I get real. She took our little girl too. And that was his everything. So anyhow, he came, stayed with us a lot after that. And then suddenly one day he came and said, Alfred has gone to Australia. We still don't know who Alfred is. And I just said, why don't we?
Oh.
And Paul looked at me. Yeah, why don't we, Paul? I said. Yeah, why not? See, we wanted to start off for ourselves. In that meantime, I got his time cut down to half because of his age. He was 32 when he started his apprenticeship, and they charged him full time.
This is his floor heating. Apprenticeship.
Anyhow. She's jumping around.
So you decided to come to Australia?
Yeah, well, we did. After 1, 2, 3, I went in and got all the papers and blah, blah, blah. And then we come down here. It was the best thing we could ever do.
Was it? Yeah. And what age were you then? And how many children did you have then?
3.
You had the 3 children?
Yes.
A girl and 2 boys?
Yes. And all good kids.
Right.
And 4 grandkids and 1 great-grandchild.
We'll get to that part in a minute. So you come out to Australia. Where do you land when you come here?
Sydney.
In Sydney. And what happened then?
We wanted to come in and see the Opera House, of course. So we took the bus in, or they arranged it for us. They were very, very good. We had a special little button we had to put. They could see where we belonged to. And theirs was green. Anyhow, so we went in there and saw that, and we sat down. And then suddenly Stephen, he flew up. Mom, it hurts. What hurts? You're sitting on grass. Ow. Prickle grass.
What was it?
The grass, prickle.
Prickles.
Yeah.
So why were the prickles
We had never
on the
seen
seat?
that before.
Oh. What were the prickles on? The seats in the Opera House?
Yeah, outside, on the ground. We just sat there and they were not finished building it.
Oh, I see.
That was the 23rd of October, 68.
Right.
We came to Australia and they didn't finish the thing. And we just sat there and enjoyed that and got all our trees out and got picked all the small things out. And then on our way into the Opera House, we went through Fern something.
No.
It's a bad area.
Yeah.
And I looked at my husband. He looked at me. He said, did we want to stay here? Not me.
So how did you find the assimilation of coming to Australia? Was it terrifying, or because you had Paul and you had the 3 kids, you sort of just got on with it, I would imagine, did you?
See, because we had been my husband had travelled too, we had travelled a lot. Mm-hmm. So we could adjust to everything. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter really what came out in our way. We could adjust to it. So the worst one was the language, of course. But actually my little son's first word in English was, Mom, I can speak English now. Oh, good boy. What can you say? Bullshit.
Hanne, I forgot to mention at the front of the interview that when I normally come up to see my mother-in-law at the aged care facility, you're sitting under the no smoking sign, smoking generally, aren't you? Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. So is it any surprise that your son, the very first word that he said in English was bullshit, do you think? Do you think it runs in the genes, perhaps? Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? Don't know. So I did want you to tell me the story about... So did you eventually go and become an RN in the end?
No, only in a role nurse.
Right.
Because I couldn't handle that language.
Okay, right.
It was
so
getting
that was
too-
after you came to Australia.
Yeah.
But tell me about the story of when you were working somewhere and you had the psychiatric patient and you had to carry him on your back. What's that
Oh,
story?
that's Wollstone Park.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we gave them ECT, electroshock treatment, if they don't know, and they get sedated just before they do that, and then after that they're so drowsy, so it's unbelievable. And then our head, Dr. Wood, he rang up and said he wanted that patient to come to that room, and he said, it's not possible. And he said, I demand it. So he looked at me, the charge nurse, and he said, and shut the eyes. Can you do that? Yes, I can. I said,
Thumbs up?
yep. So,
You didn't go and get a wheelchair?
no.
What
I
did
just
you do?
grabbed him in my hand over my shoulder, and he was a big look. He was about 18 or 20 stone, and tall too. And I had my arm around his waistline. I said, come on, here we go, mate. We were getting on very well, him and I. You gotta help me, because that stupid doctor, he wants to see you. And he said, no. He doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow,
Language warning? Oh, yeah. So you took him down.
and then it took too long for the doctor to wait, so he came towards us. He said, you can let him go. He can walk. I said, he cannot walk. Will you please take over? He said, no, definitely not. So I just slided him down so he didn't fall down. And I said, he's all yours, mate. And I left, and there he stood, the head. What is he? He's the head of the whole thing. Yeah.
Right.
He's everything. He had 3 treatments a year at Chermside Hospital.
This patient?
Yeah.
Right.
Not the patient.
No.
The doctor.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So anyhow, that was a big stirring there.
Right.
Because I just walked away.
Right. And this fellow's on the ground, sitting on the ground, is he?
Oh,
The
yeah.
patient,
And, he spat the dummy when he woke up
Right.
and nearly attacked the doctor.
Right.
I said, you should have.
So is that why you're keeping a careful watch on the nursing staff where you are residing at the moment? Yes. You've been
very, because it is necessary.
So you were working in Wollstone Park. How long did you work there for?
I think it was 7 years.
Right. And did you enjoy the psychiatric work?
Yes, I did.
Very much. Yeah.
Even the criminal wards.
Okay.
Because what you do when you work in wards like that, you get that trust. And that helps you unbelievable. They can do everything for you, and they will do everything for you. But if you start to treat them bad,
they give you 2 for the valleys.
Very vicious.
Fingers up.
So, yeah.
Right.
So that's just like, for example, once up in the dining room, we had an elderly gentleman, and him and I, we were really good mates. Had a lot of fun.
Right.
Did naughty jokes and everything, just good fun. And to see him laugh was worth everything.
Right.
So anyhow, one day, I was actually dishing food out. And then suddenly he flew out of his wheelchair, went the hand on the desk and flew over and got me and grabbed me and nearly strangled me.
Oh.
And they went on him and they sedated him, and I said, that is not fair. I want to know what happened. Oh, who knows with them? I said, that's not an answer. So after a little while, I thought, I went into the charge nurse and said, I'm going down to see Stan, was his name, yeah. I'm going down to see Stan. No, you're not. I said, yes, I am. You can be behind me, but I don't want them to see you. I just want to speak to him. You are getting on well with him. Okay. So we went down, and I just opened the door a little bit and said, Stan, you feel like talking? Get me out of here, Hanne, please. He was one of the few ones that called me Hanne. So anyhow, I sat down and we had a good talk, and said, what happened when you went for me? He had been in a Japanese concentration camp where, they were down in boxes where the snack was coming in when the water came up and all that. And what he saw there at that moment was I was a Japanese. I had to die. He didn't see me. he saw a Japanese. Should he be punished for that? No, not in my book. So I got him out too, and then there was never any problem with him. Oh, a few, but nothing really important. Because at that time we learned when he started to sort of get a little bit depressed, something could come up, so we just occupied him with a lot of other things. That's my mind thing with your mother-in-law too. When she gets upset, I'll occupy her. And she forgets about it. And then she's good as gold again.
Good distraction.
It's all it takes.
Yes, yeah. So Hanne, that desire to help people, do you think that all stems back from when you're a child and you're taking people through those tunnels? Is that where it comes
could
from?
be.
Yeah,
be.
hard to know.
I'm born that way, I don't know.
Yeah. So can you tell me the story about how you decided at some stage, I'm not sure whether you were working or whether this is just a recreational thing, that you decided that you were going to experiment with the marijuana for your pain?
Oh, you don't miss out, do you? Well, no, that was actually with the patients. I had to have classes with those druggists. And how did I know how it worked on you if I didn't know what it was? So I had a friend that was smoking it, so I said, can I have a joint, I think, isn't it?
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, I think it is. So anyhow, I got the joint, and I went out the back of our barbecue, and I stood there down.
Inhaling,
How it
holding
blew
it
in my head, you know. Oh. So I managed to come in and sit down in a chair, and my husband said, aren't we going to have any tea tonight? Yeah, yes. I couldn't move my legs and my hands. He said, what the hell is wrong with you? I don't know.
Did you fess up?
Oh yeah, of course I did.
Yeah.
And he said, stupid thing. No, I said, it's not stupid. Because now I know what they go through. I can understand a lot more about it. He said, what about the other stuff, the powder stuff? Only marijuana. And I will certainly suggest that marijuana should be legal for pain at any time, any time, for children, adults, old people. You don't have to smoke it anymore. You can get it in medicine drops and all that.
Yeah.
Yes, let them have it.
No, I think it's coming. I think it's just...
It is here.
It
is here
now.
Yeah.
I'll just remind listeners, we're talking to Hanne Andersen, who is a great friend of my mother-in-law's and of mine too, and she's probably one of the naughtiest, lovely people. He's got such gumption and oomph that I love it. I love hearing her stories. So we're here. We're apologising to the noise because we've escaped from the aged care facilities and we've come down to the pub, but we've had to deal with a bit of road noise today. So sorry if it's a little bit noisy for you. Now, Hanne, another story that I have heard. Tell me the story about where you got the hairy knees. What's that story?
The what?
Hairy knees from crawling through the forest.
Goodness gracious me. You'll be thinking.
I've been thinking, my husband's been thinking. We spent a lot of Friday afternoon happy hours drinking schnapps with you and heard a few of your stories, Hanne. So can you tell that story? Was it something to do with...
No. My son, we lived in Texas down here at one stage, and Stephen just went into town, and then 2 minutes after he came back, Mom, come here, hurry up, Mom. What the hell is wrong with the boy? So I raised that. He had a little deer, not even 6 weeks old, ripped apart. Oh, it has been into fences and what on earth do you want me to do with that? You find your way, he said. I have to go in there because I have to be there before 5 o'clock. Okay, yeah, just nick off. So hang on, we got a deer farmer up here, John. So I rang him, I said, what do I do? Do you know what you're taking on? I said, yes, and I'm determined I'm going to make that little thing a little beauty. I know you can, he said. So anyhow, I have to 24 hours job. And they will only eat from you, nobody else. And you have to stimulate the anus to make them do the business. And it's a big job.
Stimulate their anus?
Yeah, anus to the bottom.
Mm.
You have to because they can't move.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you have to do it, you have to do it. That's as simple as that. So I was, you know. And then, I knew it was the urine from the day before. Oh, no, one up. Christmas came up, and no, she went blind. That's right, she went blind. And John said, I have to put some blue. They put them in the calf's eyes too when they go half blind, and they can save them. So he said, but they sting like hell, and she'll kick and bite and scream or whatever have you. But if you can do it twice a day, she might get her sight back. I did. And Christmas Day, she was always right behind me. I mean, then certainly he took off. We called him Spotty. Took me around and started to walk around the trees. Hey, I said, she can see. So she can. Paul went in, got the gun. Yeah. And Jan, he was there too. He went in and got the lasso. And if she jumped the fence, she'll be ripped apart from the wild pigs or whatever have you. So that was no choice, either dead or lasso her. And Jan, with the first go, got her. So that was fantastic. And they made a fence up there in the whole end of the yard, like a fenced in, totally top and bottom and whatever have you. And then in there, I still have to do all that with a finger. And lying on my knees in there because it wasn't tall enough for me to need to know whatever. Then certainly I had hair growing on my knees. And I thought, what the hell is this? Long hair, up to nearly an inch. And he said, are you going to shave them? I said, no, I want to see how long they can be. So I had long pants on when I went to town.
So tell me, why were you growing hair on your
It
knees?
is something that is in the urine from the deer. So that's why I rang John up and said, John, do you want to become a millionaire? Oh, yeah. Okay. Get a couple of deers in the fence and get about 100 men to come in and crawl on their knees. On the head.
That's the cure for the baldness, is it?
Well,
put their head in
because Mae Evans, I think her name was Mae Evans, she put a tonic out you could put on the hair, and it did start growing. So I wanted to have it analysed, what was in it, but we never succeeded.
Couldn't find out whether there was any deer urine in there. Who knew? That might have been your next get-rich-quick scheme. That's right. Shane Warne. Eat your heart out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a classic. So what did you do with the hair on the knees in the end?
I shaved
You shaved them?
Course,
yeah.
And I only shaved them twice.
Yeah.
And never came back.
They were gone?
So, yeah.
Okay. And what happened to the little deer in the end?
Yeah, when she could start eating grass, I could get her out to John's place, the deer farmer. He had old Jessica, an old deer, and they would really mother her. So we took her out there, but I'd never realized that so long you drove on the bitumen, it was all right for the deer, for this Spotty. As soon as they hit the dirt road, my godfather, I can still show you big scars. She ripped me, and she was screaming.
Frightened.
Petrified. So anyhow, we come out there, and they wanted to take him away from me. So no, leave her here. I wanted to settle her first, and then she did. And then they said, where's that Jessica? Up here, so we went up there. And then John could take her because it was a bit too heavy for me to walk around with. But then we came up there, and Jessica came in over, and it was love. So, yeah.
So they bonded, and you could release her then, could you?
Yeah, I left her there.
Okay, right.
Because
now,
then she could see. We couldn't have. We had to put a 6-foot fence up the whole yard.
Okay.
We didn't want to do that.
No.
So that's why we had to keep her away.
Release her back into the wild. Now, I've just got one. We're running out of time, unfortunately, and listeners, we're talking to Hanne Andersen here today on Big Little Small Talk, and she's got lots of stories, lots of great stories to tell us. There's one last story I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me the story. I'll tell the listeners the story about when you went to the nudist camp, and you were there, and you'd had some surgery sometime before that, hadn't you? Yeah.
It was up at Slavery Island, and I went up there with my son and his best mate, Steve. They were about 14 or 15. and it was not a nudist camp at all.
Oh.
It was no. We thought it was normal, but when we came down on the Monday morning, everybody was in the row.
In the raw?
Yeah.
Nude?
So yeah.
Slackers?
Yes. Thank it. So I thought, what do we do here? Because I had just had a couple of lumps cut out of my breast and another hernia operation, blah, blah, blah. And I always wanted salt water and sunshine on it because it does heal it up faster. So we went down there and Stephen said to me, Mum, are you going to sleep? I'll take my bra off. Okay. Are you taking your pants off? I said, I've seen it before. Many times. You haven't got anything you can... What about Steve? Tough? I said, if he can't handle it, he can go home. So 1, 2, 3, Steve sleeps first. And then I felt stupid with my pants on because I was the only one wearing pants. I thought, oh, bugger it. But I didn't like it because I had all those scars and all that. So I said, no. I went behind the big block of rocks and in the inlet. So I lied there and absolutely soaking off the sun, and the water. And then certainly I saw that canoe coming around the corner.
A canoe coming around the corner?
I said, kayak. I said, you the dirty old But he wasn't old. But anyhow, he came over and said, excuse me, he said. And he was in a row too. So he said, I saw you were smoking. And you got a lighter. I just lost mine in the water. Yes, you were. I thought that was a lousy one, but okay, it's a lighter. And then he started looking at me. He said, don't look at me like that, please. He said, I do, because I know you more from the inside than from the outside. Oh. I said, I beg your pardon? I do, he said. And at the same time, Stephen coming in, and Stephen said, what's going on here? And I said, this gentleman just told me that he knows me more from the inside than the outside. Hey? Please explain. I said, well, you were one of the doctors with the operation? Absolutely right, he said. I recognized you on the dot. Wow.
Isn't that the most bizarre story?
Yeah.
So he knew you from your scars?
Yep.
And he wasn't just being weird and creepy asking you for a lie?
No. He was too young for that.
So what happened? You just all sat down together?
We all just sat there. And he had a bottle of wine, I think, in the boat, and we drank that one, took turns with the bottle. And we just had a really nice, cozy time.
Were you all still in the nude
at
this stage?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Hannah, you're a braver woman than I am.
You would have seen it all already.
I know, but I suppose you could look out to the horizon.
It did feel like taking the blanket and pull over me, but I thought, if I do that, I'm dirty.
Yeah.
Not them.
Try not to think
so
about
I said,
it.
Nah. Okay.
Well, unfortunately, we are running out of time, but I always try and throw a couple of curly questions in at the end, Hannah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Now, your questions. Your first question is, what's the one thing you should never say at a wedding? Can you think? The one thing you should never say at a wedding. I've stumped her, folks. She's quiet. She's without a voice.
Clever girl. Clever. What is it?
No, it's not a question. It's what is the one thing, your advice, one thing that you would never say at a wedding? You should never say at a wedding. No right and wrong answer.
Well, it could be something like never talk about old boyfriends or girlfriends or things like that.
True.
Because it doesn't belong there.
Yes.
But else, I don't know.
No? Okay. Yeah. So, well, you've never obviously said something inappropriate at a wedding, even your own wedding. No. You might not.
It wasn't. There was no need for anything like that. My wedding was such a cozy thing. My mom and dad held it in there. They had a very big flat because we had a big grand piano, and the bedroom was incredible big. It was old rich people's flats, but they were old. No showers.
What was that? No showers.
Yeah, but there were toilets.
Ah.
Out in from the back entrance. So anyhow, then we had it all up there, and we were about 40 people, all sitting at the table, and Mum made most of the cooking or prepared most of it. It was a beautiful wedding.
Beautiful.
And my father could play the piano, and then Paul's mate from Soldier Time, he's a fantastic pianist, and he played the piano, so there was an atmosphere, just right.
It was right.
Yeah.
Well, funny that you should say that, Hannah, because my next question was going to be, when have you been most happy? Would it have been then, do you think, at the wedding, or things got better in life?
There have been so many times I've been very happy. So many incredible things. Like that day, Mom again, your mother-in-law said, Hannah, I love you. Yeah, that made me happy. And things like that can make me extremely happy. Else, I don't know. Oh, I've had so many. When I became the first woman to be in the SES in Denmark in for Mother Nature's disaster, I was the first one. That made me happy that day. I was so proud.
Well, I think I'm going to go out on a high there, Hannah, because you have been an absolute delight, and I love your naughtiness. I love your spirit. So thank you so much for being my guest today on Big Little Small Talk. It's just been such a joy.
Thank you, Megan, for taking the time.
Thank you. That's it for this week. Thanks for joining me on Big Little Small Talk. I hope you can make the time to join me next week. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favourite podcast app.